Hello, everyone.
How y'all doing?
Welcome back. This is your girl, Carolyn Gamble,
And I'm Gary Gamble.
and it is Remnant Mentalities Youth Ministry Sunday, you guys. Welcome back. Look, I even created something for y'all. Look at that. Welcome to Remnant Mentality Youth Ministries Youth Sunday, okay? All right. I hope you guys are having an awesome, amazing day. I hope all things are well with you guys. I hope this week has been good for you guys. And if not, just know, press your way. God's got you. All things are still working together, kids, for your good, the bad, and the ugly. Everything still works together for your good. What that means is that regardless of what bad stuff happens to you, God is still working it out. So don't worry about it. You have a relationship with God. You talk to God. You tell him everything. And if you are doing those things, he is already going behind the scenes, fixing things just for you.
Yes.
So you guys, welcome back. I'm so excited. Did I say what my name was?
Yes, we did.
Okay, I'm just so, like I said, I'm so excited. So, before everything gets started, I need for you guys to like, share, and subscribe. Tell everyone that you know about Remnant Mentality Ministries Youth Sunday, okay? That's the first thing you need to tell everybody. Tell them about Youth Sunday, okay? Where you can find us on the book, you can find us on Twitter, and you can find us on YouTube every Sunday, okay? And if you don't see me and Mr. Gary, you're going to see Mrs. Marie. Back. I'm sorry. If you don't catch Mrs. Marie, you'll see us. But Mrs. Marie also does an awesome, amazing job. So you guys tune in, okay? So last week, let me tell you something else. If you miss an episode, if you're not able to get on today, just know you can go back and catch up. You can catch up on every episode, just like on TV. You can catch up on an episode. If you missed today, go back and check it out. Check us out, and you can catch up on all the episodes. If you don't know where we are still in the book of Genesis. God told me that he wanted us to start at the beginning, because a lot of times the pastor or other people are talking about different stories in the Bible and we don't even know what they talking about. But God said if we start at the beginning of the book, which is Genesis, you will have a clear understanding of everything that's going on, because we started at the beginning. Okay, and that is why we are starting at the beginning. Have you ever been in school and your teacher says turn to the middle of the book and start reading it? You would be completely confused if you started in the middle of the book and started reading the story in the middle of the book. Well, that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to start at the beginning of the book, because that's the correct way to do things. And so that's why we're doing things, because God does everything in decency and in order. So if you've been following along with us, we have been talking about the book of Genesis. Last week we were on the book of Genesis, the 46th chapter. Now we're on Genesis, the 47th chapter, you guys. So we are going to be talking about Genesis, the 47th chapter. Now, if you don't know where we are on the story of Joseph. Last week we talked about reunited, and it feels so good. So that means Joseph, if you know the story of Joseph, he has reunited with his family. He has discovered his brothers and his father. He has found them. They sold him into slavery, and now they have come back to Egypt, and they discovered that Joseph, like he told him when he was little in a dream, Joseph is the head. Okay, it's Pharaoh, and then you might as well say underneath Pharaoh is Joseph. And he did tell his family that in a dream that he would be on top and that the other people would be serving him. And he wasn't trying to be cocky about it, but look what happened. He is on the top, and his brothers and sisters are really at his feet. They need him. And so now Joseph is helping his family and getting them situated because there is a big famine going on. What is a famine?
A famine is basically when you're without. There's nothing there. There's no food. There's no resources or
No
anything.
resources. So there's no cattle. There, I mean, if you do got cattle, they're better living because there's no water supply. There's no food. Really, there's no nothing. So people are dying. People are going without because of the famine, and that still happens to this day. It's just that because we are in the United States, we don't see it as bad as other countries, but it's a famine. Okay. So let's go ahead on and get started with the reading on today, you guys.
Okay, now just to continue to go with the backdrop, Joseph he sent his brothers back home to get their father Israel and bringing them to Egypt. So now they're basically in Egypt now. Joseph on 47:1. Joseph went and told Pharaoh, "My father and brothers with their flocks and herds and everything they own have come from the land of Canaan and are now in Goshen." He chose 5 of his brothers and presented them before Pharaoh. Pharaoh asked, and the brothers, "What is your occupation?" "Your servants are shepherds," they replied to Pharaoh, "just as our fathers were." They also said to him, "We have come to live here for a while because the famine is severe in Canaan, and your servants' flocks have no pasture. So now please let your servants settle in Goshen." See, what I know is about that time is that they wasn't planning on staying in Egypt. They just came there for Joseph to help take care of them while the famine was there. Pharaoh said to Joseph, "Your father and your brothers have come to you, and the land of Egypt is before you. Settle your father and your brothers in the best part of the land. Let them live in Goshen. And if you know of any among them with special ability, put them in charge of my own livestock." Then Joseph brought his father Jacob and presented him before Pharaoh. After Jacob blessed Pharaoh, Pharaoh asked him, "How old are you?" And Jacob said to Pharaoh, "The years of my pilgrimage are 130 years old.
Wow.
My years have been a few and difficult, and they do not equal the years of the pilgrimage of my father." Then Jacob blessed Pharaoh and went out from his presence. So Joseph settled his father and his brothers in Egypt and gave them property in the best part of the land, the district of Ramses, as Pharaoh directed. Joseph also provided his father and his brothers and all his father's household with food according to the number of their children.
Now pause there. If you heard Mr. Gary, he said Joseph blessed Pharaoh. Isn't that amazing? Joseph's father, correct, blessed Pharaoh. And when he blessed Pharaoh, he blessed the king. And when he blessed the king, he blessed the land. Isn't that weird? That is so crazy that Joseph had to pray over the king and bless the king, a man of God. Even though Pharaoh wasn't all that holy and in church like that, he had common sense enough to let a man of God bless him and pronounce a blessing over him and the land. Because he knew that if Joseph was blessed, the whole thing is blessed. He knew that if Joseph was this amazing man of God, who God was blessing everywhere that he go, he knew that a blessing from his father was more greater than the blessing of the son. Isn't that y'all? Anyway, I'm getting too deep, but just think about that. Pharaoh had to get blessed by Joseph's father in order for him to keep on going forward. Let's keep going, baby.
There was no food, however, in the whole region because the famine was severe. Both Egypt and Canaan wasted away because of the famine. Joseph collected all the money that was to be found in Egypt and Canaan in payment for the grain they were buying, and he brought it to Pharaoh's palace. When the money of the people of Egypt and Canaan was gone, all Egypt came to Joseph and said, "Give us food." Why should we die before your eyes? Our money is all gone. Then bring your livestock, said Joseph. I will sell you food in exchange for your livestock, since your money is gone. So they brought their livestock to Joseph, and he gave them food in exchange for their horses, their sheep and goats, their cattle and donkeys. And he brought them through that year with food in exchange for all their livestock. When that year was over, they came to him the following year and said, "We cannot hide from our Lord the fact that since our money is gone and our livestock belongs to you, there is nothing left for our Lord except our bodies and our land."
Okay, so I'll wait there because I want to make sure you understand what's going on. So Joseph is still ruling over the land. King Pharaoh's over Joseph, but Joseph is ruling over the land because of the famine. And Pharaoh had put Joseph over the land to maintain the land, especially before the famine. And now it is the famine. Because remember, he said 7 days of good years, and then there will be seven good bad. There will be 7 bad years of the famine. So Joseph is now in the time of the famine, okay? And Joseph is asking, now what's going on is the people are running out of food, and so they are coming to Joseph and asking him, what should we do? Because we don't have any food, we don't have anything, so, and we don't want to starve. So that the first year Joseph said, well, what do you have? And they said, we have our animals and stuff like that. So Joseph said, well, if you sell me your animals, I will give you food in exchange for the animals. So now they gave them the animals. So the next year's come around. Now they're like, hey, we don't have no animals. So he's like, sell your land. We don't have nothing else but the land. So they sell the land. So he's helping them through the land. Now he gives them food in exchange for their land. Now, mind you, even in the midst of him giving him food in exchange for the land, there was one group of people that he could not take land from, and that was the priest. Then because the priest is holy and the priest represents the blessings of God, so they will never take from God, they will never steal from God. So the priests get to keep their land, but everybody else had to sell their land, and they had to take care of the priests because the priests are the ones that cover them and cover the land. So the priests were fine, but as that went on, the people start realizing, as Mr. Gary said, we don't have anything else. So now they're getting ready to do something else, which is what he was getting ready to talk about.
Yep. And so, like she said, like my wife said, Joseph done bought up all the land and everything. And then so Pharaoh, the only reason he didn't get the priest land is, I'm thinking, because of God gave the priest. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So that's why I think. So he bought, now Joseph owned all of the animals, all of the land in Egypt. And now the people are in servants. They're servants to Egypt.
Yeah, because they had to sell themselves.
They had to sell themselves because they didn't have the money.
That's right.
All right. And then it says, so Joseph established it as a law. Then I went to 26. Joseph established it as law concerning land in Egypt, still in force today, that a fifth of the produce belongs to Pharaoh. So Joseph had to give them their seeds to grow. And so now, instead of them getting 100%, the people getting 100% of what they grew, now they have to give a fifth of that back to Pharaoh.
Which is kind of similar to like us now when we buy things and there's taxes and a tenth and a fifth and all that. That's why I said it all started at the beginning. If you want to know how you got to where you got to start at the beginning. So this has been going on for centuries, for years. Okay. People have been, when they had to exchange with the government, Pharaoh. When Pharaoh gives, they have to give back a tenth or a fifth or a half or whatever, a percentage. That's taxes. Okay? Taxes. That's what was established way back then. So somebody said, oh, we don't know where it came from. You can say it came from the Bible. It came out of Genesis. They had to give a certain percentage back in exchange because he gave them jobs and money and stuff like that. And then they have to give back to him a percentage of what they earn. Okay.
All right. And so it was only the land of the priests that did not become Pharaoh's. Now the Israelites settled in Egypt in the region of Goshen. They acquired property there and were fruitful and increased greatly in number. Jacob lived in Egypt 17 years, and the years of his life were 147. When the time drew near for Israel to die, he called for his son Joseph and said to him, "If I found favor in your eyes, put your hand under my thigh and promise that you will show me kindness and faithfulness. Do not bury me in Egypt, but when I rest with my father, carry me out of Egypt and bury me where they are buried." So where his family's buried, basically. "I will do as you say," he said. "Swear to me," he said. Then Joseph swore to him, and Israel worshiped as he leaned on the top of his staff.
Okay. So like Mr. Gary said, we talked about the people having to give themselves as unto the pharaoh so that they can make money and so that all that stuff. So now we're getting to the end of this chapter where it talks about how Joseph has to where Pharaoh agrees to take care of Joseph and his family as they are living, because they're not living in Canaan. It was where Canaan where they lived at. They moved from Canaan all the way to Goshen. That's where they want to live at. And that's in Egypt. And they want to sit there and they want to live there and dwell there. And so Pharaoh said, "I'll take care of your family and everybody. You guys work, and whatever trades and skills you have, I will work with you." And so that's what they're pretty much doing. They're doing good. They're successful. Why? Because God is blessing them. And they're successful at everything that they're doing. But now it's getting, time is passing. And now Joseph's father, Jacob, which is also Israel, is he says his time is coming. So he tells Joseph, "Promise me that you will bury me where my other family members are, and that you will continue doing what you're doing, but promise me you'll bury me and give me a good burial, a funeral. Do everything that I need to do. Do everything you need to do when I get ready to pass away." So he knows that this time is coming near for him to pass. And so he got Joseph and his father gotten to reunite, and Joseph has pretty much set everything back in order. His dad is content. He knows that things are going well and that the family is well taken care of. So he's at peace. Okay. Now I got some things. That's the end of that chapter. So now I got some things that I need you to remember. One thing that I got from this lesson so far is, when people do you wrong, don't get bitter, get better. Now, Joseph was going through a very bitter part of his life. His family sold him into slavery. Joseph could have been bitter right now. He could have been in his feelings. He could have been really mean to his brothers and really mean to his father. But Joseph was not bitter. He rose to the occasion. He got better. He learned from it. He learned that all things still work together for his good. He learned that God was still blessing him and taking care of him, even in the midst of everything that was going on. Even when he was a slave, God still took care of him. So Joseph learned from this. And that's the thing that you need to know, that even though you're going through bad things, God wants you to get better and not bitter. And he wants you to learn from the situation. Learn from the problem. Don't continue to dwell in the problem. Solve the problem. Learn from the problem. And you will get better as you learn from the problem. So that's what Joseph had to do in his life. And the next thing that Joseph had to learn is, let God fight your battles. Joseph was going through all kinds of situations. His feelings was all over the place when he saw his brothers, and he felt betrayed by them. They sold him into slavery. Joseph was young when they sold him into slavery. He was like a teenager, or about to be 18 or 19, and they sold him into slavery. He was the baby of the family. You know, he didn't do nothing. Okay. And they sold him into slavery, and he had to deal with that thing. He had to adjust. He had to learn who was against him, who was for him. I mean, he had to grow up fast. But God still took care of him. God still shielded him. God still protected him. But he had to learn to let God fight his battle. He had to learn to let God, if God be for him, who could be against him? He had to learn that regardless of what's going on, no weapon formed against him will prosper. Because don't think that the devil wasn't being mean to him. Don't think the devil wasn't doing stuff to him when he was in jail, when he was in prison, when he was in Potiphar's house. And then he got kicked out of the house and got put back in prison. He was going through stuff. We all go through stuff. But let God fight your battles. Let him do it. You don't have to fight. You give it to him. You tell it to him in prayer, and God will fight your battles. Look at Joseph. Look how he rose to the top. What did it say? Cream rise to the top. Joseph rose to the top. And the last thing, keep praying, keep trusting, and keep believing. Even when things around you seem like they're not working out, you keep praying to God. You keep talking to God. You keep trusting in God, and God will work it out for you. He got your back. He loves you. He's not going to leave you. He's not going to disown you. He's going to always put you first because he loves you and you're his child. So remember that regardless of what you're going on and going through in life, God has you, whether it's schoolwork, whether it's problems at school, whether it's being bullied, whether it's getting mistreated, or you feel your parents are ignoring you, whatever it is, you take it to the Lord in prayer. Talk to him about it. You don't have to be in all the deep conversation. Talk to God about it. Just tell him. Tell him what it is and leave it there. Don't carry it on your shoulders because you wasn't meant to carry the problems. God will carry the problems for you. And last but not least, I know I said that was the last one. Last but not least, most of all, forgive. You cannot make it in life if you don't forgive. If God says if you don't forgive people when they do you wrong, you cannot be forgiving yourself, and he does not hear your prayers. So do not go around not forgiving people. If they do you wrong, it might hurt your feelings. It might make you upset. It might make you angry. But forgive. Forgive. And God will take care of the rest. God will handle you. He will make sure that you are well taken care of. If he did it for Joseph, he'll do it for you. Mm-hmm. That is all that I have for you guys on today. Babe, you have something you want to say?
Man, just know, that God loves you and keep a relationship with God. That's what this chapter is about. That's why Israel was able to live to be 147 years old and to lose his second youngest son and to regain him back because he kept his relationship with God. That's why his second son, which is Joseph, was able to get sold into slavery. And then he found out as long as he can talk to God, have a relationship with God, that he would come through and he was able to see his father again because he kept his relationship in God. So when people do you wrong, don't forget about God. Keep your relationship with God.
Amen, you guys. So that is the lesson on today. I hope that you guys have learned something on today. And I will see you, or Miss Marie will see you next week. And you guys, give a shout out to Marie. If you can, jot down below and tell Marie happy birthday. This is her birthday weekend, you guys.
Birthday,
so tell Miss Marie, right. Happy birthday, girl. I'm so excited for you. You made it through another year, and God has been great, and he has been amazing. You guys, until next time, you guys be blessed. I love you guys, and there's nothing you can do about it. This is Remnant Mentality Ministries. You Sunday, you guys. Bye. Peace.